Today marks 1437 days lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about one of the most important topics, if not the most important topic of all when I think about the becoming the best version of you, is change. Change. I didn't speak about change for a long time, but I think this is necessary. It's necessary to remind ourselves how important is change. Because if we do not remind ourselves how important is change, we might stay who we are because we forget that we always need to look for ways to pivot, to shift, to transform, to evolve to a different kind of person, to become the best version of ourselves. So today we'll share five things that we need to consider when we think about becoming the best version of ourselves by changing ourselves. Because it just is common sense that if you want to become the best version of you, you will need to change. You'll be required to change. And rather be afraid of it, rather than avoid it, we need to seek it and go through it just to make sure that we're able to become the best version of ourselves. So what are those five things that we really need to consider just to become the best version of ourselves through change? So number one is identity shift. And this is like deep inner work. Identity shift. So then if you want to become the best version of you, you need to become different. Identity. You need to change who you are and how you see yourself. And this is just identity shift could be a long training. Because we can potentially identity shift. It might be that we do not have identity, we just have a mask of our identity, and we growing our mask rather than growing our identity. Sometimes we need to unmask ourselves to really see our true identity, that we could change identity. Such an interesting thing. Sometimes we growing our mask and we really not living authentic life because we want to fit in. We want to belong. We want to belong to the community that doesn't supposed to belong to us because we are different. So rather than really changing ourselves and moving to a different kind of environment, different kind of community, and really accepting ourselves and really shifting that true identity, we sometimes put a mask on. And I think that when sometimes we want to say, I want to change, I want to grow. But that growth is not that fast. Maybe that growth is not that fast because we're trying to grow mask. And of course, growing mask is much more difficult than really growing your true identity. So that means that we really need to redefine ourselves. So that means that who you are right now and who you would love to be in the future, and there will be a gap, and that gap will need to be filled with change, with transformation, with evolving yourself to a different kind of person. And I think that sometimes how to do that, how to really redefine yourself, really need to visualize yourself. You visualize your new identity, and I think that's a beautiful thing when you visualize, you familiarize with the new picture of you. You familiarize with your new identity. Because if you're seeking something that you're not aware, it's very hard. Because I love the saying that everything happens twice. Everything happens twice. First in your mind, second in real life. If you never thought about it, you'll never have it. Exactly the same thing with material things and internal things. So it means if you really want to become some version of you, your identity, that means you need to visualize how that person, what kind of values he has, what kind of behaviors, all the things about that future you, all the identity. And of course, when you think about identity and after identity, all other things falls down. And of course, that means that identity will a lot of times mainly focus on the alignment. And alignment is coming from values and knowing those values, and then asking if my actions of that identity aligns with the values. And that's again one of the key parts of foundational things is identity shift in change. Number two is emotional mastery. Emotional mastery, and that emotional regulation, other people say that, and that means that we need to rewrite our patterns. And a beautiful thing, I really love that the example that sometimes people give, really how to manage your emotions, is that when I'm triggered, then I will do this. When I'm triggered, then I will do this. So that means if you have a pattern of something, be triggered into some certain emotion, you're able to say like, this is what happens when this trigger happens, this is what I feel. So if this is a pattern, that means we need to build on top of it a new pattern. So when this happens, I consciously choose to transition to this one. That means consciously, this is a very important word. So when this happens, the trigger happens, it moves me to negative emotion, then I consciously choose to transition to other emotion. It might take sometimes longer, but when you consciously choose over and over and over, what will happen is at some point when trigger happens, you automatically will switch to that new pattern. Because I love that when you are changing yourself, firstly, you need to be conscious about it. Exactly like the example is with cars. When you're driving a car, sometimes you're overlooking everything, how to look into mirrors, looking into the car, how to, like, everything. Everything is conscious. But after a while, when you're driving a lot of hours, you know that everything is becoming unconscious. So you're able to communicate. There are so many things you can do, and you don't know how to end up in at work because you just done it so many times. Exactly is, but emotional mastery is that we are self-aware. What kind of triggers, what kind of patterns do I have regarding emotions, and then we're able to really transition to different kind of emotions, and just to make sure that we're able to really love our triggers rather than avoid them. And that's again this coming from a lot of shadow work, understanding who we are, and really connecting the parts that you love from the parts that needs growth. Because I think that one big part is that sometimes say like, oh, I love this part of myself, I hate this part of myself. But what we need to learn and understand that what I needed to learn is that you do not improve things that you hate. So if you hate enemy, you will not do anything to improve that person. But if you love enemy or love your friend, you will help and nurture that. Exactly as with yourself. If you love some parts of yourself, you will nurture those parts. But if you hate some parts of you, you will not nurture those parts. So rather than hating them, we need to accept those parts and say that those parts are the parts that need improvement. So there is a room of improvements in your internal work. So that means that we're able to really understand what parts of you do not like, but you want to start loving, unconditional loving, and then nurturing to really transition from the things that you don't like to something that you really say, wow, I was able to improve because I accepted that I was not good at it. And sometimes we just need to be able to really rehearse being calm. That means be able to even visualize how we react in different things and really bringing more presence, stillness into our lives. So that means that when external things coming to our way, we're able to choose calmness instead of reactivity. Number 3 is behavioral engineering, or that means that daily actions. What daily actions do you have? And I think that's one of the key aspects that I really love about really change and improvement in behaviors. This is one of the best things that I think that it was for me, and YouTube channel is my keystone habit. What you do daily that really improves some part of you. Because I think that my YouTube channel is not about just YouTube. Is about my communication skills, about my character building, about showing up. There's so many things and intertwined things that it could be from that keystone habit, that consistency, that belief, that confidence that is built through keystone habits. When the things is going sideways in your life, when something falls apart, you know that you have something keystone habit that you fall back onto. And there's a lot of things. Could be running, could be exercises, could be communication with someone. There's what are the keystone habits for you that you know that no matter what's going in life, you will be able to do that daily, consistent keystone habit anyway. And at the same time, we're able to say not every single day will be great, but there's something could be great in every single day. So the micro wins. I think that is a beautiful thing. When we think about changes, we're able to say, what kind of micro wins could I do every single day to really change, improve, get better? So that means that maybe you said that I'm very shy. I'm extremely shy. Maybe having a starting conversation every single day with a stranger that challenges you, I think that could be an amazing micro win. I think that micro wins are essential because those micro wins could expand. Because I think that one thing that I really love is that some growth is linear, some growth is exponential. And when you think about it, when you do things that scares you, that could potentially lead to exponential growth if you allow yourself to still keep doing the things that you are afraid of. And I think that the most important part that we always need to understand that consistency over intensity. Sometimes I believe that some parts in your life, intensity is very important. Like when the rocket launches, you need to have a lot of intensity, and then after, of course, after that you put a lot of consistency. But majority of things in life needs just consistency alone, and being able to really change, improve, and get better, and achieve massive, massive success. And for example, that eating food uh, is consistency, not intensity. You're not able to eat for a week very intensely healthy food and expect that your health will be great. No, like it's all about consistency, and there's no intensity in that. Neither in exercises. Number 4, and I think this is extremely important. I have seen so many times when I moved so many times I moved. I lived in Europe, in America, in the States, in Canada, and in different countries in Europe, and I noticed that the better environment, the easier it is to be consistent, focused, more productive. So knowing that, we need to understand with whom you live, how much do they add or take away from energy. So I found it is very, very important. So that what are the environment, including as physical environment, so clutter, all the things that is around you. So sometimes rearranging your home could be helping you to change, improve, get better. Digital environment, all the social media, and I think that it's very, very important to unsubscribe, and that's what they did a lot of times. And I think that on YouTube channel, I used to, when I see that there's some kind of recommended YouTube video that I do not like, what I do is that do not recommend this channel. If something that I do not agree on, or like I don't appreciate some weird information that is not helpful whatsoever, negative information, I say do not recommend this channel. So I train my YouTube channel to really show me business, show me personal growth, show me positivity, not negativity. And I think that every single person needs to choose to really only things that really matters. And I guess and the most important part is people surroundings. What are the people around you? What do you allow in your surroundings? What kind of people? I think that every single person needs to really do a energy budget. An energy budget is supposed to include people who add or take away energy. And I think that if we have too much people in our surroundings that take away energy, it's very hard to change. It's very hard to change because change requires energy. So when we have more of it, we're able to change faster. And last one, number 5, and I think that is sometimes even the most important thing. It depends on every single person's beliefs, but it's transcendence beyond yourself. And that's again where I think that we need to change. We need to grow. And a lot of times people say, like, when the people start to heal, really look into transcendence, it seems like they are birthed second time. Because spirituality is something that you need to grow into as well. When you start, you're like a baby. And I truly believe that every single person needs to have a spirituality father or a spirituality mother or a spiritual guide. Because we need to really support in growing, at least at the beginning. And after that, when you get the foundations, you're able to really spend a little bit more. But I think that in every single thing, we need to really find someone who could help us to improve us, just to make sure that we're able to change, to improve. Because one of the best ways and one of the best shortcuts in life is always to have a guide, a mentor who could really guide us through some alleys that is potentially be very difficult to go through. And I think that with transcendence, we always say that service mindset, really adding value to people. And one of the rules are you're not able to give what you don't have. So basically going out and giving yourself so you can give to others. And the most important part I really love that I learned quite recently is that when you really want to add value to people and serve others is when you are alone and invest all the time and not consume Netflix or all the other materials that doesn't add value to you. When you're alone, consume information and have input that really adds value, tremendous value to you. And when you with other people, when you're surrounded with other people, then you have service mindset when you serve others. So that means at the beginning you serve yourself when you're on your own, and when you're with others, you serve others. That is a beautiful way. And I think that one of the biggest things again in life and transcendence, I think that's one of the favorite my words is gratitude and appreciation. What you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. That means if you appreciate the money that you have, you will have more of it. If you appreciate the relationship that you have, you'll have more of them better and nurture them better. So that means that in every single area of our life, it doesn't matter how much we have, we need to be grateful. Again, this goes back into loving and hating. If you hate your life, you will not nurture it. If you're grateful about your life, you will try to improve it and make it better. It will change. So the more gratefulness we have, the more appreciation we have about our life, the easier it is to nurture and change it. because they're able to accept it, to see the reality that we're in, no matter how bad, how good it is, and we're able to like, where would I love to go and where I am, and okay, there's a gap, it's quite a big gap. But when I'm grateful about it, it's much easier to really take action and have the attitude and the focus to really make changes for the better. So I hope that you really reflect as well. How many changes do you make in life or in a year? And what kind of changes do you want to make in life? What kind of changes you will make in the next week? What kind of changes or shifts could potentially, or needle moving things could you work on next week or today? What kind of things, because I think that we'll always need to bring back to today. What kind of things could you potentially work today to make sure that you're able to be better tomorrow? I love what, before I go, the last thing that I want to mention that I truly believe that is a beautiful, beautiful saying that I learned from John C. Maxwell, leadership coach. He said that today I do my best, but tomorrow my best will be better. Today I do my best, but tomorrow will be better. And that's again is one of the core aspects of change. That today, it might be that I don't do the best in other people's perspective, but in my perspective, I do what I can, and that is all. That is all I can. This is the best that I can. And this is powerful when you're able to be authentic and you're able to be yourself and you're able to give your best, even though that is not a lot, but still be able to be grateful for it because we know that if we give our best today, tomorrow that best will be better. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.